Hello, my name is Douglas Bauman, and this presentation has been prepared for Psychology 615, Theories of Personality at City University's School of Professional Studies, titled Autobiographical Personality Analysis, the Big Five Taxonomy, and the Life Narrative. Lives are filled with endless complexities, continually evolving with new environments and uncharted experiences. Personality traits provide a framework for understanding how we respond to situational challenges. The Big Five taxonomy offers insights into how personality shapes actions and reactions. These Big Five traits show both malleable and heritable components and come with notable changes across one's lifespan. Understanding the Big Five gives us a deeper look into how we process and respond to life experiences. Here are the goals of this presentation: to show through a personal accounting of a Big Five analysis of the life story, to reflect on the expression of the traits with some informative background of the life narrative, and then using some theoretical principles that lend to understanding the arc of the autobiography. These are the fundamental components of the Big Five and their attributes. Openness. This trait represents creativity, curiosity, and the willingness to embrace new experiences. People high in openness often explore novel ideas and value artistic and intellectual pursuits. Conscientiousness. It reflects responsibility, organization, and goal orientation. High conscientiousness is often linked to discipline and the ability to plan effectively. Extroversion. Sociability, friendliness, and assertiveness define this trait. Extroverted individuals are energized by social interactions, and they tend to be outgoing. Agreeableness. This trait is characterized by cooperation, empathy, and trust. People high in agreeableness are often seen as compassionate and are team-oriented. And finally, neuroticism. This includes tendencies towards anxiety and emotional instability. Individuals scoring higher on neuroticism might experience stress more intensely. It's important to note that these traits work on a scale. For example, those who would be low in neuroticism would tend to be more relaxed individuals versus stressed, or those who are averse to new experiences would be low in openness. A Big Five inventory was derived from the completion of the BFI-2 personality assessment. This provides a personalized analysis by comparing individual data to a sample population. The results are represented as Z-scores, which help contextualize where one stands on the continuum of the Big Five traits. These scores not only define the position of each trait with the larger population, but also offer insight into how these traits are expressed in daily life. The rest of this presentation will share descriptions of the trait assessment and real-life examples that reflect how they are expressed. The trait of extroversion was measured at a score of negative 0.27, but it's important to note that this score fluctuated over time. These shifts reflect the dynamic nature of personality, influenced by life events and situational factors. One of the significant factors in these changes is major life transitions, such as entering college. The assessment for conscientiousness yielded a score of negative 0.15, which is close to the average of the sample population. This indicates that levels of self-control, organization, and goal orientation align closely with most others in the population. I do, however, perceive this score to be low for myself. Among the Big Five traits, the most significant difference from the population was the highly elevated level of agreeableness, reflected in a Z-score of 1.57. This elevated score highlights attributes such as empathy, trust, and helpfulness, which are core to this trait. Elevated agreeableness can also present challenges, though. For example, the tendency to prioritize harmony and trust can cloud judgment when a more emotionally rational approach is needed, particularly in decision-making processes. Avoiding confrontation may also lead to not advocating strongly for personal needs or arriving at the best outcomes in certain situations. The assessment for the trait openness resulted in a Z-score of 0.67, which reflects a moderately high level. This score highlights traits such as inquisitiveness and a strong adaptability to new experiences, and openness to trying new things and engaging endeavors when there is little prior experience. While this trait has remained relatively stable since early adulthood, it has been influenced over time by situational experiences and non-shared environmental factors. The assessment for neuroticism resulted in a score of 0.6. This score reflects tendencies towards anxiety, occasional mood shifts, and dwelling on negative emotions. These characteristics have evolved over time and are shaped by life events that brought shifting levels of responsibility and heightened awareness of environmental changes. Research supports the notion that both genetic predispositions and environmental factors influence the expression of neuroticism. For instance, my parents experienced similar challenges with neurotic traits in the past, which, combined with situational occurrences, likely contributed to how this trait is expressed. The life story interview is a structured framework designed to explore the most important and transformative moments in an individual's life, organizing these into key chapters that reflect personal growth and change. For this narrative, three major chapters were identified, focusing on adulthood and how the big five traits have been expressed through both stability and evolution over time. Chapter 1, the illness and loss of a family member. This chapter, occurring in the mid-20s, marked a critical turning point. The loss of a mother had a profound impact on life's trajectory, including career choices and how coping mechanisms were employed. This period was also associated with a significant increase in substance use. Chapter 2, the move to NYC. In the late 20s, there was a major shift by moving to New York City. This chapter brought a career change, exposure to new social groups, and a whole new set of social influences. It represented the start of a new trajectory, full of both opportunities and challenges. The third chapter, recovery and educational pursuits in Las Vegas, and a return to New York. This leads into the present. After over a decade at NYC with significant personal growth, but also struggles with substance abuse, it resulted in a move to Las Vegas to be near family and find support. This was a transformative period, including seeking help for alcohol abuse, achieving stability and sobriety, and embracing higher education by attending UNLV. Research has shown reconstructing one's identity plays a vital role in addiction recovery. This life story chapter continues now back in NYC, pursuing a master's degree, and has connections to psychological theories that fill in the narrative. Let's look at earlier development. Early development began with a normal upbringing. Born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, there were good friends made, local schooling, along with strong family connections, all who lived nearby. This period set a stable foundation for early life. However, during high school, the introduction to alcohol and the party lifestyle began to shape the social environment. Research shows that a strong sense of self and supportive peers can actually reduce risky drinking behaviors, but it also highlights that when the majority of a social group engages in excessive drinking, individuals are more likely to follow suit. This dynamic contributed to the progression of substance abuse through emerging adulthood. A significant turning point came with the loss of a family member. This moment marked the intersection of grief and the increasing resilience on alcohol as a coping mechanism. As a life story interview described, such events serve as pivotal moments that drive major changes in one's life trajectory. Negative experiences can lead to the development of a flexible coping toolkit, enabling growth and adaptation and resilience over time. Two key concepts, the plasticity principle and the maturity principle, provide a framework to understand personality development and its role in this autobiographical life narrative. The plasticity principle emphasizes that personality is not fixed and can change over time through pivotal life events and intentional effort. Research has shown that environmental challenges and major life experiences, like the loss of a loved one, can lead to positive personality changes by learning through adversity. The examples in this narrative are overcoming substance abuse and pursuing education, where there was demonstrated growth in agreeableness and conscientiousness, both key indicators of personal evolution. The maturity principle suggests that as people age, they tend to increase in conscientiousness and agreeableness and become more emotionally stable. Research has also shown that psychological maturity and social dominance tend to increase in adulthood. In this narrative, personal hardships help foster humility and resilience, aligning with research on how recovery from substance use disorders reduces neuroticism and enhances conscientiousness. Self-esteem tends to remain stable over the lifespan and is closely tied to how life events are framed and understood. This emphasizes that by reframing negative experiences, individuals can create a coherent and positive life story, building a strong sense of self. The application and narrative reflects learning and growth from adversity, forming a self-definition rooted in resilience and optimism. Personality is shaped by three major factors: genetic components, those that are heritable; shared environments, as in the influence of family and the home environment; and non-shared environments, experiences that are unique to an individual, such as personal friendships. In conclusion, the maturity and plasticity principles demonstrate that personality evolves alongside life experiences, forming a dynamic life narrative. These principles highlight how resilience, learning, and reflection can reshape one's personality traits, self-esteem, and overall sense of self over time. The life story, its pivotal chapters, and understanding them through the expression of the big five personality traits can enlighten us with the arc of an individual's personality.